Relevant Magazine, this is the Relevant Podcast.
If I fall down, and I keep on running. If I fall down, and I keep on running.
It is Tuesday, October 1st, 2019. My name is Jesse Carey, and you are listening to the Relevant Podcast. We have a very, very great show today that I can't wait to tell you about. But first, I want to introduce who is with me today. Live from Paris, he is halfway into an arm's length baguette. Carbon up for the show. Our very own senior writer, Tyler Huckabee. Tyler, welcome to the show.
Bonjour, everyone from Paris. And yes, you caught me in the middle of a petit déjeuner.
Oh, well, no one knows what that means. It's a giant hunk of bread. It's not even a loaf. It's a big bread hunk. And also joining us today, I'm excited to introduce someone who will be sitting in with us from time to time. Yeah, I think you've been on the podcast before, right?
A couple times.
Okay,
yeah.
A couple times. It's our creative director. That's your official title, right, JD?
It is.
Our creative director. I thought that was I want to get the official. Because he makes everything at Relevant look awesome, him and his team.
Most of it.
John David Harris, we call him JD. JD, welcome to the show.
Greetings.
All right, so we got a lot to get to today, guys. First, I want to tell you that about our guest. We have Rebekah Lyons on the show. Man, I was so pumped about the conversation I had with her about her new book, which is out today. Actually, today is the release day for this book. It's called Rhythms of Renewal, and the subtitle is Trading Stress and Anxiety for a Life of Peace and Purpose. That is the ultimate. If there's a bigger felt need just among like our generation right now, I don't know what it is. But then what could be bigger than dealing with stress and anxiety? And the great thing about this book and the conversation that is coming up later, I really encourage you to stick around and listen for a lot of us really practical steps that she did to be more present in her life, and being more present has helped her, really take anxiety and stress head on. So very excited for Rebekah Lyons coming up. But first, before we get in, JD, it is a custom when we have someone joining us for the show that isn't on regularly, that we get to know you a little.
Oh, great.
We get to know JD. I know JD pretty well, and I have the infamous... table topic cards here that I'm pulling at random. I'm sitting in the chair here in the Orlando studios, and I am pulling the table topic cards. All right, JD.
Yes.
The first one I am pulling out at random.
Great.
At random here. Oh man, that one's. I'm going to go with this one.
You almost pocketed it.
Random.
So you second guessed yourself.
It is a red card.
It is a red.
All the rest of them are green, and you just pulled a red one.
Okay, so it's confession time.
Oh boy.
And this could be secret sense. Let's get it off the chest. Let's air it out here. What's one thing you've done that you'd like to erase?
Oh
my gosh.
Agreed to be on this podcast.
Okay. Well, it's legally binding, and do you need to tell the listeners what you told me late last night while you were crying and asking for prayer? Okay, if you could change places with anyone, who would you choose?
If I could trade places with anyone, oh Lord, that's hard, right? I think I'd like to be, I don't know, trade places with anyone. I like kind of where I'm at.
So you wouldn't trade places with anyone?
Who would you trade places with?
Nobody you would trade places with in the world, JD?
I don't know.
I respect it, but I'm not. I mean, you got a great family.
I mean, yeah. There's all that
career,
stuff.
obviously.
If it was like trade a job or something, maybe like Kathleen Kennedy, who's like overseeing all the Lucasfilm stuff. That'd be fun.
Okay,
getting to know the Star Wars secrets and plan what happens with Indiana Jones movies or something nerdy like that.
Yeah, that's really nerdy.
I could get down with a nerdy job like that. That's like the new Mike Rowe series. Mike Rowe and nerdy jobs.
If I could pick someone I wouldn't trade places, somebody's responsible for the Star Wars franchise. That seems like partly the worst job ever, because literally even the most minuscule decision you make, it's
ridiculed.
You're going to get ridiculed and angry fans.
I feel like that's what working at Relevant is like right now, though. So go.
Tyler, who would you change places with anyone in the world?
Yeah, I was thinking about this because that is a good question. I think that I would say, I feel like, I was watching, and I don't recommend this necessarily, but I was watching SNL over the weekend. It was kind of a week return.
Sorry for your loss,
Center.
Yeah, I wasn't on board. I didn't laugh very much, but I feel like Billie Eilish, that girl has got a good thing going. She doesn't have to do a whole lot, and she's still living the dream. She barely, her songs are good, but she barely sings. She doesn't dance. She wears whatever she wants to wear to work.
That's true.
And she's still she's making enough money. She's making SNL money now. She's headlining SNL with Woody Harrelson. I feel like that's a pretty good teenage energy that she's got going on right now. So right now, I would say I'd get on her train.
Yeah, I would do that as well.
That's a better answer than mine.
I have an answer, and it's going to lead me into a new segment that I'll fire up in a second.
Okay, cool.
Chandler,
right.
I'll tell you when to play the music, but I would trade places with the highest ranking intelligence official in the United States government. Here's why. This whole storming Area 51 thing.
Yeah,
it was supposed to happen.
Bit of a flop.
We're a week out from when millions of people had agreed.
That's like contractual obligation.
I know. Okay, so if somehow people aren't familiar with the story, what happened is, as a joke, a college kid created a Facebook group called "Let's Storm Area 51 to see them aliens," and he had millions of people sign up for this event that took place on September 20th.
Celebrities too.
Yeah, celebrities were there, but because he was genuinely concerned, probably for very, very good reason, about the implications of a horde of ironic meme culture, internet fans literally just storming the gates of a military base. He kind of, once he saw it spiraling out of control, he changed it into a music festival, which he called Alien Stock. A bunch of people went out there. Some people did go to the gates of Area 51, but they were not allowed to proceed because it's a military base. But if I was in the role of a top intelligence official, I could be like, all right, time to see them aliens. What do we got? Open the files. Let me see them. Like, I want to. We got spaceships. Do we have spaceships? I've seen the Bob Lazar documentary on Netflix. Okay, so what a lot of people don't know about JD is this.
Are you still just playing the X-Files?
Yes, just wait. I mean,
X-Files over and over.
It's the one we have the rights to.
Listen, I got to do my intro.
Okay.
Because JD's here. And this is his favorite topic.
It
is mysteries. Okay. From aliens and Bigfoot to secret codes hidden in the Bible, Illuminati peeking around every corner. It's time for strange happenings. With JD.
I'm in.
Okay. So I didn't even tell JD we're doing this today, but
this is a surprise. But I'm on board with this now bi-weekly segment.
The spin-off podcast
on the
is
first
coming.
edition of Strange Happenings with JD.
Yes.
Okay. I want to know. Last night you went to go watch So a little context. I came down. I flew in yesterday. I'm hanging out for the week. I'm staying at one of JD's buddy's house right now. And JD's like, well, why don't you come and join me? It's Monday. And Monday, me and my friends get together and we watch the History Channel program, Ancient Aliens.
That's true.
Most people know this program because of
the meme.
The meme. Of what's the guy? What's his name?
Giorgio Tsoukalos.
Yeah, Giorgio Tsoukalos, where he's got the crazy hair and he's an excited expression on his face. And he's like, I don't mean to say it's aliens, but it's aliens.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the first edition of Strange Happenings, JD has seen every episode in all 15 seasons. There are 15 seasons.
15.
I didn't know that.
There are 15 seasons of this show, Ancient Aliens, and each episode is an hour. So I can assume there's 20 episodes per season.
Something like that, yeah.
So off the top of my head, JD has consumed well over 200 hours of Ancient Aliens content. Okay, for the first edition of Strange Happenings with JD, I want you to tell us.
Okay.
That after watching all of these episodes of Ancient Aliens, What do you believe is being hidden from us that we need to know about? And you're also, I should say this, JD, he's also, you're a believer.
Yeah.
You know, JD knows the Bible well. He volunteers in ministry. So
this isn't like a believer, like in the X-Files sense.
No,
like
no.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he's not a skeptic, but he's also, so we're going to get someone who's, by virtue of taking like 3 college classes worth of ancient aliens lectures.
Yeah.
And someone who you've also, do you have any seminary background, JD?
Yeah, actually, all of my degrees are in
Perfect
seminary.
That's right. So we have a seminarian, we have a theologian, and an ancient alien expert. Okay.
All in one.
Give us give us your take right now. You have open ears. Sally, you have open ears, right?
I can't wait.
Chandler, Chandler, this is peak podcast content, is it not?
Oh yeah.
Tell us what your theory. Tell us what your theory is of what's actually happening out there.
So, one of the crazy things is I actually feel like the entire ancient alien phenomenon is actually the ultimate conclusion of materialism. So It's the idea that everything that we believe in or that surround us has to be concrete, which is contrary to like spiritual beliefs or things, right? So when the Enlightenment happened, right?
Yeah.
And scientific methods started being developed and all these things, we kind of did away with anything supernatural.
Or mystical.
Correct. Yeah. And so what you have now is you have this entire generation of people who are uncovering these things that they cannot explain. And so what they have to do is they have to create something that's scientific to answer their claims.
Okay.
And so like when they look at stories of the Bible or they hear about stories of healings or they are looking at other religious texts and they hear about all these like interactions with beings that don't fit into our current understanding because of materialism, they have to up the ante, right?
Yeah.
It can't be supernatural. It's gotta be aliens.
Yeah. So basically you're saying
I dig this.
So that up until the Enlightenment, people had like a more intimate relationship with the supernatural.
Sure. Or they were just more open to it.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, we don't understand how this thing could work. So maybe it's
there was
the
a
divine.
lot of, there was a lot of people that, or exactly. Or like, oh, of course it could be, angels or whatever in the Bible.
Right.
But when the Renaissance hit and people started embracing reason, they had to come up with a rational explanation based on the natural world.
Right.
And you're saying that's where the theories about aliens come from.
Right. And ultimately, it's the ultimate conclusion to it because no matter how much they've all tried, like they can't reconcile all of the stories or they can't reconcile all the things that we interact with as humans. And so, and I think it's funny because it's like, eaten itself, right? Because you've got all these scientists now who are like, no, we don't believe in ancient aliens. We don't do that. And they're using the same kind of loose, bad versions of the scientific method, but they're using the same things. They're like, we see here that there's this, and we can't think of any other explanation. And we know like gods and demons are phooey, so it's got to be something physical. What's more powerful and than us that's outside of our realm of existence? Oh, aliens. Yeah. And so they attribute everything to aliens.
All right, let me ask you this. That's a good answer, but it discounts my next question to a degree. I should have rehearsed this with you. But we've talked about this too, and I'll conclude Strange Happenings with JD on this question. But there is a there's a story in the book of Ezekiel.
Yes.
Where the prophet Ezekiel encounters some sort of strange, as it's described, people can go look up the verse itself, but he encounters some sort of what sounds like a strange sort of craft.
Yes.
It's described as descending from the sky and carrying these odd creatures that, deliver him prophecies. But the only words he can put to it is it looked like wheels upon wheels.
Yeah, wheels within wheels.
Wheels within wheels, which sounds like some sort of strange spacecraft. What do you think Ezekiel is referring to? Because I've heard in like the ancient alien circles, people will look at that and be like, see, Ezekiel ran into aliens back in the day.
Right.
What do you think that story is referring to?
Well, and I think that kind of backs up my point, right? So these alien the ancient alien theorists, as they call them on the TV show,
Yeah.
they will look at something like this and go, well, it can't possibly be something supernatural. So it's got to be something natural. It's got to be something physical.
Yeah.
And that's obviously aliens.
Okay.
But I do know that, like, now obviously with that scenario, you're talking about like potential angelic beings or
Yeah.
whatever. Growing up, though,
Okay. Because your worldview has shifted
yes,
since. Yeah.
the some of the people within the church that I grew up in, or the little circles that we would talk and theorize about stuff
Yeah.
in, they like really buy into these ideas of this like pre-Adam civilization and these
Okay.
like times before Adam, these times that would exist in the early phases of Genesis, which would leave room for like dinosaurs and
Yeah.
like the fall of Lucifer and how he had his own empires and kingdoms and stuff. And so they see all these things and they think like, oh, this is evidence of this like secret history
Yeah.
that still all has like winks and nods in the Bible to these moments. But and so what they would do is they would see like aliens as being like physical manifestations of disembodied spirits or fallen angels or something like that, which I'm like, okay, cool. Why are they doing those things that they're supposedly
What are the
doing?
motives there?
But at the same time, I think Ezekiel is seeing things beyond what his comprehension has.
Yeah.
And so he's
grasping
writing
at
them
the
down.
words.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think the materialistic response is like, oh, well, this wheels within wheels have got to be aliens.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, it could be something crazy or some sort of spiritual manifestation
Could
of
be
some sort.
God.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be.
Which
yeah,
is what
or-
Ezekiel thought it was.
Yeah.
Right. And so you have like scenarios. I mean, have you seen the latest renderings that they've done of the NASA just released of the supermassive black holes
No.
that look exactly like the massive black hole that Kip Thorne came up with for the Interstellar movie, where
Oh.
it looks like circulating wheels within wheels
Huh.
and stuff. And it's just this crazy things. And so that's not to say that God is a black hole.
Yeah, but God may interact with the natural world in ways that we don't fully
Correct.
understand.
Yeah, there's things that we are still like observing. And I think good, like healthy science is based on like observation. So you observe it and then you figure out what it could be through observation. And I think the religiosity of that science has kind of started to take on areas where it's like, oh, well, we don't talk about that because that's a thing. And then like, oh, no, it can't be that because of blah. But really, it should just be about like figuring out through these observations what it is. And, Giorgio and his fans, they're just aliens everywhere.
Maybe after another 15,
maybe they're right.
Maybe another few hundred hours and we'll finally get to the bottom of all this. Sorry, Chandler, cue the music for me, man. Let's hit that music. Segment 1 of Strange Happenings with JD. Okay.
That was a very successful. I was listening. I can't speak for our listeners, obviously, but as a listener and a fellow co-host, I had a great time listening to that.
Yeah. Oh, so did I. Well, hey, that will do it for your introduction to JD and the first segment, the first episode, maybe the only, I don't know, of Strange Happenings with JD. Up next, Slices. You are listening to Spirit of the Beehive. Chandler, that's made up. Don't you lie. The song is Fell Asleep with a Vision. At the beginning of the podcast, you heard Foles with the new song, The Runner. Well, today's Slices is brought to you by Warby Parker. Dude, I love Warby Parker, and they have such a cool story. They were founded with a rebellious spirit and a lofty goal to create boutique quality eyewear with a revolutionary price point. It was a collaboration between two friends. It was conceived as an alternative to overpriced and bland eyewear wearable today. They believe that prescription eyewear shouldn't cost more than a plane ticket or a new iPhone. And by circumventing traditional channels and engaging with customers directly through their website and retail stores, Warby Parker is able to provide high-quality, good-looking prescription eyewear at a fraction of a cost. Also, it's if you've ever ordered or if you've ever heard about Warby Parker before, you probably also know that you're you're engaging with a really good cause. Almost 1 billion people worldwide lack access to glasses. That means 15% of the global population cannot effectively learn or work, which is crazy because glasses were invented 700 years ago. Warby Parker partners with nonprofits like Vision Spring to ensure that for every pair of glasses sold, a pair is distributed to someone in need. Warby Parker believes that everyone has the right to see. Sunglasses from Warby Parker start at just $95 and includes polarized lenses, and you can get prescription sunglasses starting at just $175. So incredible prices, especially if you've gone glasses shopping. They are not cheap. But Warby Parker is an affordable price point. So listen, here's the deal. Order 5 pairs of glasses and try them on for 5 days, and there's no obligation to buy. They ship free and includes a prepaid return shipping label. Head to warbyparker.com/relevant to order your free home try-ons today. And you can take a quiz to find out a pair that works perfect for you. The quiz involves questions about how you like your glasses to fit, how you like them to kind of sit on your face. And because you get 5 different pairs, you can find the one that fits perfectly for you. And right now, speaking of glasses that fit perfect, I'm sitting across from JD. And JD, tell me what you have on right now as we speak.
I am wearing my Warby Parkers because for the last about 6 or 7 years, I've only bought Warby Parkers. And that includes both my prescription normal glasses, but I also get prescription sunglasses. Being here in Florida, it gets pretty bright.
Yeah.
And they're exclusively the only thing I buy.
How many pairs did you say you found?
Oh gosh, probably about 12 different pairs.
Hey, when you come home and you get the new Warbies on, what does the fam say?
Oh, it's so great. My favorite part is that try-on kit. Because they even have a great app that you can use where you like take the picture of yourself, or it even does it live where like augmented reality puts the lenses on, and like that's a cool starting place. But then you order that take home kit and they send it to your house. It's very easy. You pop it on. My wife gets to say yes, no, yes.
Yeah.
And then you get down to your bottom 2 or whatever you figured out. Then you ship it home or you ship it back to them for free. It's super easy. I don't have to go to a store. I don't have to be hassled by an optometrist or somebody who's like trying to sell me the upgraded versions that they get the kickbacks on. I don't have to worry about any of that. Yeah. I just order it and like a week later they get to it. And the other thing that's great is they have an awesome warranty. I don't know if we talked about that, but like they guarantee against scratches on the lenses. And so like my frames I still liked my frames, but the lenses were getting scratched up, and I called them up and they just sent me a new pair. Easy peasy.
That's awesome. Yeah, that app is for the iPhone 10, so you can download that and check it on your face. And remember, glasses start at just $95, and that includes the prescription. Lenses also include anti-glare and anti-scratch coatings. There's blue light filtering lenses that are also available for people who are concerned about the effects of blue light. So remember to check out the deal right now and get your free try-on kit. Go to warbyparker.com/relevant today. All right, it is time for slices. Typically, I go first, but since I'm in the hosting chair today, you know what, Tyler, I'll kick it over to you. Why don't you kick us off, man? Yeah.
Oh, that's very nice of you. Thanks. So I wanted to. I thought this was sort of an interesting. This is a little bit nerdy in a different way than listeners might be accustomed to from me. This is going into like bookworm territory. But Jesse, I know you saw this slice on the side earlier today. I wanted to get y'all's thoughts on it. So the Chicago Public Library System has now become the largest library in the country to do away with late fees altogether. They just today are not only getting rid of late fees for future books, but any late fees they have on file there right now are also getting wiped clean off of. So a year of jubilee in Chicago for the book nerds, right? Nobody, if you are in a Chicago listener, or if you've ever rented a book from a Chicago Public Library and you did not return it, you can leave your house for the first time. You're free. Wow. You're free to go. You can leave debtor's prison. In the past, Chicago, like many other libraries, had a limit. In this case, once your late fees hit $10, you were barred actually from the public library system. system, you couldn't go in anymore. That applied to, according to their estimates, some 30,000 members of people in Chicago right now. So those people are all going to be allowed back. And the reason they did this is because they wanted to, obviously, to increase access to the library. The people who were at the library, according to Library Commissioner Andrea Telly, who responded to critics who suggested the move might be a blow to personal responsibility, said, and this is a quote from her, she said, libraries don't necessarily want to be in the morality business, and we don't want to make the assumption that if a book is late or someone can't pay for a fine, that they're delinquent or bad in some way. They may just be in a place in their life where they can't pay the fine. I thought this was super interesting. I lived in Chicago for a little while. I lived near a library. I was working something out with a homeless charity while I lived there. And I remember the library being what's called like a third space in the Chicago community. Another place people can just kind of go and be, especially if you don't have a lot of home security. A library is a place where you can go. It's warm. You have internet access. You can apply to other jobs. You can work on your education. You can work on your homework. A lot of times they have free classes, free after school classes to help you tutor in subjects that you might not have. So I think the library, in addition to like renting out books, is just a good place for people to go, and they can serve the public good really well. So I think that's super interesting. I also thought it was a fun experiment. Can you imagine today if we didn't have libraries, like pitching the idea of a public library in today's world? Well, can you imagine like what that pitch would be like going into the Congress and saying, I think we need some taxes. We need to pay for a building in every city in America to have a bunch of books, including books that people already have, like Harry Potter, like the Harry Potter books or the Bible.
Well-known books that you can absolutely go into like Barnes & Noble or Amazon and purchase. Yeah, that
you could buy them. You could stimulate the economy with these, or you could just go to a library. You could take it for free. And it's staffed by a paid team of like book experts, like book scientists who are educated. Like they didn't just go, this isn't a volunteer thing. They're paid. And this isn't like they went to a workshop to learn how to help people find books. They like went to college for this to figure out how to do this. How did this even pass in the first place? Let alone, how is it? I don't want to say this too loudly because I love libraries, but I feel like if the wrong person hears about this, they're like, we got to abolish that. We can't be doing that. That doesn't make any sense.
I don't need Uncle Sam telling me to read books. I read good anyway. Uncle, don't tread on me. No, but when's the last time, JD, you went to a library?
Oh, I actually went to a library recently because they like the Orlando library. They rent out like rooms for meeting spaces. And so I was meeting a buddy of mine to do a kickoff meeting. But as far as like besides that, to like actually go into a library to rent, check out a book.
You don't rent it. That's what's crazy about it. There's no money involved.
There's no transaction.
Borrow a book.
JD, they were really confused because JD handed them an old expired Blockbuster card.
I was like, is that how this works? Do I just give you this card? No, I can't remember.
You know,
I cannot remember the last time I checked out a book from the
library. When you were a kid, JD, did you go to the library? Like, was that part of your growing up experience?
A little bit. I mean,
it was a big part of mine.
I would go to the library at our school.
Yeah.
Because I went to one of those.
I don't understand that. Now you've lost me.
Well, the biggest thing about the library in school, like the library was okay in school, like it would, but you had to be quiet. Like it wasn't that cool. You read scary stories to tell in the dark. Right. That was one thing you did.
Hide it.
You hide it because even every illustration was nightmare inducing. And the other thing that the good thing about the library was that was usually the location of the Scholastic Book Fair, where it's like, okay, they're selling stuff that has no educational value, like at the Scholastic Book Fair. It's the best day of school as a kid. And you walk in there and you're like, well, I already have textbooks. I think I'll buy that Lamborghini poster. I'll buy that poster of the green Lamborghini. Mom, Dad, it's at the school. It must be good for me.
I mean, I also remember that the library used to be the only place at our school that had computers. Now that dates myself a little bit
anymore,
but like, I mean, we would go in the morning and all huddle around and try to be the first kid at the computer station to play SimCity 2000.
Yeah,
which
or
was
Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail.
Just load me up on musket balls, and that's really all I need, because I'm not getting close to any river.
No, we don't have time for that. We just got to go hunting.
My journey is going to end. Is going to last about 100 yards into the woods, and I am going to take out as many buffalo as possibly can. My family is in the caravan, slowly dying of dysentery, and I'm slaughtering endangered bison on the American prairie.
It's the American way.
That's what I did in the library at school. But if they want to keep them around, I mean, I thought it was cool when I was a kid. Yeah. I'll say this: I've been to libraries recently because both my kids like going to the library. Libraries now, books are like secondary. Like, oh, you can check out books here because they have like interactive displays. They have like games. Like, I have a library near me that has a toy room. They have meeting rooms, computers. It's like the books are literally an afterthought. So to your point, Tyler,
it's followed sort of the Amazon route of starting out as a book thing, but then it's like we don't have to limit ourselves. People don't like to read anyway. So
I wonder if there's like an amount, like a bare minimum amount of books you have to qualify as a library.
Yeah.
Like if I just put like 10 books in a corner and said like, yeah, you can borrow those, but here, check out the like interactive toy section. Like, is that a library?
Are you saying like this in your garage? Like you're just going to open your garage door and there's going to be books on the ground and be like, come on in and check out all my weird stuff.
It's the library on Walnut Street.
No, I do think abolishing late fees, especially like you said, Tyler, because it's potentially prohibitive to people who actually use the library service if they fall behind. And if someone has a library fine and it's between paying that fine and continue to use the library, but if they're really strapped, or that $10 could be used for food or to pay a part of a bill. I do think depriving people of library services because they fall behind on late fees. I get it. I think it's a good thing.
And in CPL, I wasn't aware of this, but I saw. I always figured that fines were part of like just how they made ends meet at the library. I assumed that was the big thing. But as it turns out, at least in Chicago, fines made up 1% of their annual budget.
Oh,
that's
wow.
So abolishing the fines was not going to significantly impact their day to day whatsoever. I don't know if that's different in other places, but in Chicago, that's the case.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it's not just like the old Netflix model, like back when you used to get the physical things.
Yeah.
How like just after a certain amount of time, if you didn't return it, then they just charged you for the cost of the thing. Because the ridiculousness about right, and the ridiculous thing about the late fees is you can have like $400 in late fees on one Dr. Seuss book.
Yeah. I thought it was weird when we were young, where public libraries started moving towards like CDs and books.
Yeah,
I mean CDs and movies. It's like I get why I should be able to check out a book, about an ancient dynasty in like China or something. It's some history volume, but it's like, why is the library allowing people to check out a copy of Weekend at Bernie's? Why does my city care if its citizens have this at its disposal for free?
Babe, I picked up this great documentary at the library about this guy who dies, but these two young business associates carry his body around.
When you started just to get like mainstream movies at the library that there's no community value in, why did the city care? Like I said, of making that available to its citizens. Like, sure, they could rent it. Sure, they could go to the theater, but we must use their tax dollars so that they will not miss Speed 2 Cruise Control.
An American classic.
They
did have. Did you ever, when you went to the library, did you ever get on that? They do this a lot in movies about journalism, where they get on the microfilm. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I don't even totally know what the process is of converting something to microfilm. I don't know how that would go, but that's how you used to. You couldn't this was Google. Except for you just turned the little knob over and over.
You know what the fun thing about the microfilm montages in films is? Like, it's so great at showing the passage of time.
Yeah.
Because like the journalist or investigator goes to the library and gets in front of the microfilm, and he's like, or him or her's like spinning it. And like at first they have like a necktie that's like tied nice and tight. As they're going through articles and reading headlines, what? Nun murdered 1846. What is this? And they keep like going back. and like the necktie is getting looser and looser, and all of a sudden there's sweat, and there's just like they're drinking coffee, they're
like an empty
pacing,
sandwich.
they're pacing around as the headline show, and all of a sudden they stumble upon the evidence, and then they like just at that point they start looking at over their shoulder like, oh my gosh, is anyone going to see this? Is anyone going to see that I found the evidence? You know, like right here, it's been the microfilm the whole time, and they like
and then
hurry up.
The librarian comes back and like, ma'am, we're closing up, and she's like, 5 more minutes. I just.
So if it's only for the reason of preserving microfilm montages in films,
Yeah, what would
we need libraries.
scriptwriters have? What trope would they be able to?
exactly.
Yeah, because Google, that's boring.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch somebody Google all day.
Yeah.
It's like 2 seconds.
Was the villain's great grandmother murdered in 1946? Oh yeah, look, totally
Yeah, there
true.
it is.
Totally
I found
true.
it.
Also, check out this. I'm getting a restaurant recommendation. It's a new sushi place that opened by the library. So, all right, JD, what do you got for us, man?
So over the past year or so, Australia has been releasing these new dollar coins, and they've been imprinting onto the back of their coins like a different thing, and they decided to go alphabetical.
Okay.
But they get to the end of the alphabet and it starts to get really difficult to find things.
Yeah.
And especially because they're all supposed to be Australia related.
Okay.
Well, they got to Y, and they decided to mint the dollar bill for this period with the cryptozoological character of the Yowie. No, the Yowie is like the Australian
Chandler,
Sasquatch.
fire up the music real quick.
Oh, yeah.
We're
Got
gonna
to.
get back in.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know this was going to be a slice, but we might as well.
Yeah.
Volume 2.
Episode 2.
Welcome to Volume 2 of Strange Happenings. With JD. Okay, so continue.
So the Yowie. So the Yowie is a smaller, a hairy bipedal cryptid, right? So it's like a Sasquatch. Or
Hold on. Wait. Not everyone is as well versed in this as you. A smaller bipedal cryptid.
Yes.
Break that down for
I
people.
feel like that's self-explanatory.
so it's a small.
Is it spelled YOWIE?
I-E.
So
Y-O-W-I-E.
So JD, this is a fictional or cryptozoological
yes.
creature
Yeah,
that
right,
walks
right.
on 2 feet.
Correct.
And is small. How small is smaller?
Well, it just would be, it's small for the like Sasquatch type creatures.
Okay.
So it's probably just like human sized.
Okay.
Well,
but
the
it's
first
supposed to-
illustration I found online has it carrying a kangaroo under one arm, which isn't impossible for a person, but that's good
Seems
size.
like a large.
Is it a
yeah.
caribou or a caribou? A kangaroo or a wallaby, maybe?
It looks like a kangaroo to my untrained. I've never been to Australia. I don't know.
I don't know.
But anyway, the kangaroo eating or wallaby eating Yowie is their like mythological legend. Now, this isn't the only cryptid to have graced on money. It turns out that back in the day, the British Royal Mint honored the Loch Ness Monster on their own coin. And actually, Sasquatch himself, Bigfoot, was put on some paper money up in Canada for a while. So they're just joining the trend. And what I want to know is, when does America get ours?
Okay.
It's a good question.
I mean, there's all like we mint special things.
Yeah.
We went through the states. I think it's time for our cryptids. Why doesn't Ohio have a Mothman coin or like New
let's
Jersey,
say-
the Jersey Devil? Like, there's tons that are out there.
Yeah,
We have a
let's
lot
say-
of them.
Let's say they're making like a new, for some reason, just hypothetically, like a $30 bill.
Right.
And they're like, Roosevelt's overdue. But you know what else is? Bigfoot. Like if when you like the $30 bill, where the president is typically framed, it's just a Bigfoot. It's like
See, I actually think the best increment for this would be a $2 bill, because a $2 bill is already like
it's already weird.
It's already weird.
yeah.
It's already like not really in circulation, but it still counts.
Yeah.
So if you grabbed a $2 bill that had a picture of the like Lake Champlain monster on it, you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Jackpot.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Jesse, I just want to point out that you keep using the word fictional, and I don't know if that's sensitive.
Yeah. Cryptozoological.
Thank you.
Figments of people's imagination. Okay. All right, JD. Thanks for your slice. That'll do it for episode 2 of Strange Happenings. All right. Mine has nothing. Well, my first one is I have a twofer, as I typically do. I wanted to talk about a new Russian, a new Russian startup. It's a tech startup, and it's in the city of Perm, which I love the name. I love.
Yeah, bunch of curly-haired people
I
walking
picture
around.
it's a very fashionable city. It's in the Russian city of Perm, and this tech startup is called Promobot. And the idea with Promobot is it's a human android, and it looks incredibly lifelike in some ways. Although when you look at it, it has cold, creepy, dead eyes. Like it is meant to look like a robot, but not only is it meant to look like it's meant to look like a human. It's a robot that's meant to look like a human, but not only that, it's meant to look like you.
Ugh.
It is a robotic copy of you. And so they have already apparently sold dozens of these to people around the world, and they're using them as sort of like surrogates for the people. So like if an administrator, these are some of the examples they give. An administrator, a consultant, a guide, concierge. So let's say, Tyler, you were the concierge at my hotel and people really liked you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can buy a promo bot for like $12,000 or whatever they cost. And it'll look just like Tyler. And he will say whatever Tyler says. I can just replace Tyler with this robot. Some people said I'm out of town right now. I could, if I had one of these that looked like me, I could have my wife put it at the dinner table. So I have dinner with the family, and they would look and talk to a robot version of me.
I was going to say, Jesse, your eyes are looking a little dead today.
How do we know?
What'd you say, JD? What'd you say, JD? What'd you say, JD? I'm sorry.
So this is basically like a Blade Runner thing, but instead of replica, like they're replicas of like real people.
Exactly.
But I would assume the technology hasn't gotten to the point now where it's like a convincing. Right?
No, I mean, if you were honestly, it looks like a version of that person if they were like drugged, like sedated. Like from the pictures, it's like that might be him, but something ain't right. Something isn't right there.
I feel like this could be a good prop in like a Home Alone style movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
where
good
like,
idea.
instead of the Michael Jordan poster moving around on the train, you could have just a few of these set up to scare away would-be burglars.
Yeah. You know what they look like? You know what they look like? Like, have you guys seen everyone's seen it's on all the time, that State Farm commercial where Oscar from The Office has the robot version of himself. He's like the State Farm agent, and he starts glitching and his eyes start spraying, and that's what these look like. Like they definitely have like the uncanny valley, like you guys know that term, where it's like something that looks almost human but is slightly off, and it like deeply unsettles you.
Yep.
They call that in the design world, right? The uncanny
it's the
valley.
uncanny valley. Yeah.
Yeah, and you try to avoid that in design. Like that's why it's not. That's when you watch like a Pixar cartoon, or if you are looking at like pictures of androids or things, they design them to look overly cartoonish a lot of times, or overly robotic. Like when you're watching, like I said, like a Pixar movie, there's a reason The Incredibles look like cartoon versions of people and not real people.
It's easier for us to accept it. Whereas like that Cats movie trailer was like, nope.
It's very unsettling.
Like too close.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's very unsettling. The most famous example, and they point to this having failed initially, is the film Polar Express with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Where it's an animated movie, but they sort of like face map the characters, and they're almost human, but they're not quite. And people were very unsettled by it, and the effect's called the uncanny valley effect. So these robots are very creepy. If I wanted a robot assistant, I don't need it to look like a real assistant. Like I don't have a problem with it being a robot, But they've sold dozens, and you can check out.
When you say dozens, do you mean like 12 plus 1? Or
35.
Do you mean,
they said they sold 35, but they're really ramping up here, and I have no idea what they cost. So they're called promo bots. Okay, I have one more slice, and this one, I'm really interested in your guys' feedback on this.
Okay.
I didn't want to read into it too much about the implications. I just wanted to kind of share the data and let people kind of chew on it. This is from Pew Research Center, and they recently conducted research about how different segments of Americans view positions of authority and power in society. And so there's a lot to unpack here. You can go read more at Pew. But the couple examples I wanted to talk about, I noticed Christianity Today also did a piece on this, is how evangelicals differ from not only like Catholic Americans and unaffiliated Americans. But how evangelicals differ from other segments of society. First, evangelicals break the average. They have a higher than average view of police officers and people in the military and military leaders than the rest of the American population. So they're more willing to trust military leaders and police officers than the general population or even Catholics. However, this is
evangelicals.
This is American evangelical Christians. However, even though they trust police officers and members of the military leadership more than the average population, when asked about journalists, they have a less favor. It's actually less than the average. They favor and trust journalists less than Catholics and unaffiliated Americans. So again, I don't really know. It doesn't really read into the implications or reasons. It's just kind of putting the research out there. But I wanted to talk to both of you guys real quick. Why do you think evangelicals, break the average when it comes to these two areas? Basically members of the armed service and police officers having a high view and journalists having a low. Does that surprise either of you?
It doesn't surprise me, but maybe only because I was like raised up in it. And I know that like to me, it was always like seen as a authority scenario. Cause like authority is a real big buzzword and like concept with inside the evangelical community. And there's like, you're wanting to be under the covering of your senior pastor and la, 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 la. There's all these authorities. You respect titles and stuff. So people that would have a title, or a place of authority would automatically get that. And I don't think that, they would view journalism as some sort of like title or role of authority. And so it's like you respect authority, you honor authority. And this is very like honor culture is very big in the evangelical circles. And I think it kind of stems from there. I also think it probably stems from, at least in my scenario, a lot of the evangelicals were coming from, I don't know how you would say this, but like I guess a demographic where there were a lot of servicemen and women and a lot of like police officers and stuff. And so therefore it's something they understand more. It's something they can relate with and they want to like respect and honor those things. Whereas like, in Newport Richey, Florida didn't have a ton of like journalism majors flooding out of the schools. And so I think there's a little bit of that too. I've also been curious as to, I've kind of noticed that amount of honor in like the military and the police force, but I've also been curious about how that in my view kind of is counter to their views of the Second Amendment, because it's usually from like, at least from my experience, it's been this thing of like, yes, we honor our military and we honor our police officers. Okay, well, what about your guns? No, I need my guns to protect myself from police officers in the military.
There is kind of the
what? So that's always been interesting. But I do think it comes down to like that honor culture that's built within the evangelical circles that they just carry over to places with title.
Yeah. Tyler, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I would be super interested in, I'd like to see the, obviously evangelicals, overwhelmingly white group of people. So I would be interested in seeing also sort of the racial breakdown of a study like this. Since statistically speaking, white folks do have a lot more trust in the military and in police officers than black people have for a variety, I think, of a very valid substantiated reasons based on the headlines. So I think that would probably need to factor in. The journalism thing is interesting, and I would be interested in seeing what the breakdown of that is over time. Like, was there a time when journalists were considered more trusted, and has that gone downhill as there has been a perception among the Republican Party that the MSM, the mainstream media, is like out to get them? And because most evangelicals do identify with more of the Republican Party, they feel sort of an obligation to also take up common cause against when we say journalists, we think of like the major outlet, like the New York Times,
yeah.
The Washington Post, CNN, places like that. So those would be the two questions. I don't know the answer to either of those things. Those would be the questions that I would have about, has that changed in the past 10 or 20 years? And what is the racial breakdown? What sort of correlation is there with the racial breakdown of the people surveyed here?
Yeah, it's certainly interesting, and it's an interesting one to keep an eye on, especially as it pertains to, I could see, like JD, you were saying, for a variety of cultural reasons, members of our armed forces and service members, particularly leadership, as it's referenced in this, have are in very high standing in evangelical circles as well as police officers. But I do feel like it is interesting that evangelicals seem to be a lot more skeptical of institutions and journalism. So it's certainly an interesting study to keep an eye on. So,
well, yeah, and you wrote an article a few issues ago about how evangelicals are also susceptible to conspiracy theories as well.
That's right. I mean, disproportionately so.
Yeah, and so it's an interesting compounding.
Thankfully, I'll say this. Thankfully, that there are journalism institutions within Christianity that take their responsibility seriously and will not mix cryptozoological theories.
When we find those, we will let you know about them.
All right. Well, all right, guys, that'll do it for Slices. Next up, Rebekah Lyons joins us. All right, you're listening to Mia Folick. The song is Premonitions. Today's featured interview is brought to you by the Life Application Study Bible from Tyndale House Publishers. Well, many of us relate to the Bible sometimes, but what if there was a Bible for all times? This is why Tyndale created the Life Application Study Bible. It's the best-selling Bible in the entire world. It's the pure text of the Bible paired with profiles, maps, and timelines, all written in plain English. It's called the New Life Application Study Bible for all times. Listen, when I say maps, 16 pages of full color maps. When I was a kid, that was one of my favorite parts about reading the Bible.
Flip to the back of the Bible and look at all the maps.
Yeah. So, hey, JD, can I read you a couple things that make this Bible such a life-changing resource?
Ready.
It begins with the unique character of its study notes, which include, here's what it includes: the information necessary to help you understand the passage and the truth that is being taught, an explanation of how the truth is relevant for today, the application to your personal situation. Other study Bibles don't attempt to accomplish all of this comprehensively in their notes, but that's what makes the Life Application Study Bible so cool. With the Life Application Study Bible all in one place, it provides what you would need to apply biblical teaching to your life every day. Whether you're new to the Bible or a lifelong reader, this study Bible includes clarifications that can help you understand the language, advice on how to apply the Bible's teachings, descriptions of the context, settings, and profiles of key people in the Bible, guides for finding what you're looking for, and so much more. So, don't forget to get the Life Application Study Bible wherever you get your books. All right, today's guest is Rebekah Lyons. She is a national speaker and best-selling author of the new book, Rhythms of Renewal, Trading Stress and Anxiety for a Life of Peace and Purpose. In it, she draws from her own battle with depression and anxiety and shares a pathway to establish 4 life-giving rhythms that quiet inner chaos and make room for a flourishing life. Along with her husband, Gabe, Rebekah serves as a co-founder of Q Ideas, a nonprofit organization that helps Christian leaders winsomely engage culture. The organization's global live stream has featured thought leaders from everyone from like Malcolm Gladwell to Tim Keller to really cool event. And this book is really, really great. If you or you know someone who's been struggling with anxiety or depression and is looking for practical ways to implement new practices in their life, I would highly recommend this book. But anyway, without further ado, here is part of my conversation with Rebekah Lyons. Well, tell me a little bit about why you wanted to write Rhythms of Renewal.
Well, goodness, let's see. The backstory is that I first developed panic disorder 9 years ago when we moved our family to Manhattan. In some ways, I thought this was a new kind of a midlife reset for me. And skipping the streets of Manhattan, ready for this life of meaning to kind of reemerge on some level. In this same season, I had my first panic attack on a flight from Atlanta back to LaGuardia one night late, a couple months in. And it just came over me, and I couldn't stop it. I was powerless to it. And it was driven by claustrophobia, but it just turned into like this just desperate need to escape. Yeah. And it wasn't rational. So, my body reacted in a way that began on that airplane. But then once I got back to the city, once we landed, there's 8 million people in this span of 11 miles. And so personal space is not a thing. And I remember what began at the end of the flight was planes, trains, elevators, subways, and crowds. And so this kind of became the norm of my everyday life for about the next year and a half. And so over time, I do remember in September, the next year, there just being a moment in the middle of the night where I just cried out to God for rescue. He got loud for me in that season because I was just pretty desperate. I was, had grown up in the church and my faith was real, but I didn't need God in the way that I did in this season. And so I do remember crying out just in just this earnest, like desperation, just like rescue me, deliver me. I can't do this. I cannot do this. I have 3 children. I'm a husband. I'm trying to make a way here in this new place. And I can't do this without you. And in that moment, my body just came out of panic. And normally that would never happen unless I left the situation. I was able to escape. But in this moment, it just stopped. I was just still. And I just felt like flooded with peace, like peace that wasn't mine, clearly. And that began a healing journey. And so slowly I started to write about it and talk about it. And it turned into a couple books and teaching for the last, 7 years. And I did not have another one for 6 years. Wow. And the reason that I started this new book, the third book, with the one that I had 6 years later, is because I think this is a message that we fail to communicate, especially in the church, especially in places of faith, with a lot of people who are dealing with anxiety and depression. So 6 years later, I'm trapped in a bathroom in California in this like really small cell in this old house overlooking the sea, and something rises in me, and it's more intense than anything I could remember. And I was losing it. And I thought, man, what does this mean? Like, I'm a fraud. I've, talked about this peace and this rescue for so long and seen the power of that in my own life. And then here we are. What does relapse mean? What does that look like? And so I look up and I see this little like window in the bathroom, like far above the toilet. And I'm thinking, is that thing going to open? Because the home is like 100 years old, and the window latch is probably not working, just like the door latch was not opening. And I somehow get up on top of the toilet and shimmy my way and barely make it through. And I get out and I'm overlooking like the cliffs of the Pacific below. And I wrestled with God the whole day. I was like, what was that about? I couldn't pull it together. Yeah. And finally that night, falling asleep, I just heard God say, hey, Rebekah, when I say I heard him, it's like in my spirit, I felt this prompting that just said, I don't promise that fear won't come knocking, but I do always promise a way of escape. And for me, that was really paramount in this new season, because we live in a culture where fear comes knocking all the time, or stress comes knocking all the time, or anxiety comes knocking all the time, every day. Like, you can't get through a single day without feeling some level of physical symptom of stress. In fact, the American Institute for Stress says 77% of our society right now feels the physical symptoms of stress. And so with that understanding, it was more about, okay, if you promise a way of escape and that none of us are immune to this, then what does that mean? And so for me, that just meant really just taking seriously. I started to read and study and research. This book took 15 months to write because I wanted science and faith to come together. I didn't want this to just be like, just pray, even though prayer is powerful. But God actually created our bodies in rhythm, and they need rhythm, and they need order, and they need these 4 rhythms for new life to continue to flourish inside of us.
Now, tell me, Rebekah, a little bit about how, incorporating the, different methods into your day-to-day life to kind of, have these rhythms and, have this kind of daily perspective. What does that look like on a daily basis to incorporate habits that will set you up for, kind of a healthy outlook each and every day?
Right. That was my goal. I was like, I need to make this practical, actionable, approachable, right? Where we can somehow, with God, take charge of our emotional health and inspire some of our loved ones to do the same. So the way I broke this out is just the way I found it to be true in my life. And because God creates in rhythm, creation happens in rhythm, day and night, sun and moon. We have seasons, we have ocean waves, we have solar systems, we have planets, and then in the human body, we have our heartbeat and we have our breathing, inhale, exhale. We have like contractions and labor with new life coming in. We're all made to operate in rhythm. And God says, because I created in rhythm, and then you're the culmination of my creation. When you're out of rhythm, your body feels it. And not only do you feel it, everyone around you feels it. And so the first two rhythms are input rhythms. They're rest and restore. And rest is for spiritual, the inner life, the mind, the heart, before God, just like, okay. And so the first chapter, the very practical step is take inventory of your life, like right now, like take a hard stop of what you're doing and just get alone for a day or two and ask yourself these hard questions, like what's right and what's wrong, what's confused and what's missing. And it's just that SWOT analysis some of us are already familiar with, but it really fleshes it out in my own life, with my work and my family and this vocational call that I feel as well, like how what's working and what's not. I need to know, and I need to be honest about it, and then quit something or 5 things, who knows, because they're sucking me dry and they're actually shutting me down in the area that I was actually created to live out. And then the second thing is, for me, very practically, I started to see waves of depression for me because I'm familiar with it. I know what it looks like. And so I took a tech detox, and I learned 3 things in that season. I got so much time back, for starters, and I started sleeping again, partly because of the blue light, from a phone at bedtime is like the worst thing possible. And I started dreaming again. Like when I would journal, I'd get these fresh ideas that weren't from something I saw someone else do, because I wasn't watching what other people were doing. I was just like dreaming, like on my own again, original thoughts. And then the third thing is I started learning again. And I think we're made to learn. We're made to be lifelong learners. So I was just like inhaling books on science about the body. And I was listening to a lot of podcasts around that theme. And I was just like, this has got to make sense for me to live this out personally before I can begin to talk about it. And so that was the rest rhythm. And then the restore rhythm is the physical life. Like, what am I using for fuel every day? Like, is it caffeine and sugar, or is it raw? Is it from the ground? Is it clean? But, just in general, getting active, getting outside, what does that do for our serotonin levels? Like things we know, but we don't really fully understand. I talk about permission to play, like recovering even in our active life, just the things that we loved as kids, and learned that play and control cannot coexist. So for me, I had a hard time playing because I was always trying to quality control everything, because I was operating out of stress and not out of just enjoyment. Those are the 2 input rhythms that fill you up. And then the last 2 rhythms are the last half of the book, and those are the outputs. Because the idea is once you've been filled, you now can offer something to the world. And so connect is all about relational health, and create is vocational health.
That was Rebekah Lyons. Next up, Listener of the Week. You're listening to Free Nationals with the song Oh Sight. All right, well, everyone, it's that time. We're bringing it back this week. It's time for...
You listen to the show, and it's time to get to know you. It's the listener of the week.
All right, that's right. So we put out a call on Twitter to all of our listeners, and we asked them what are some interest. We want to find someone with 3 interesting facts that we can call and introduce the world to our listener of the week. Today, joining us right now, strolling through the streets of New York,
No big deal.
Katie Kavanaugh. Katie, welcome to the show.
Hey,
Congrats.
everybody. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Oh, this is awesome.
We're excited you're on. How long have you been listening to the podcast, Katie?
On and off for years, but I have become pretty religious about it since April. I've catch it as soon as it comes out.
Oh, well, look at
Did
that.
something shift in April? Was there a? Did we add? I'm trying to think. Did we add something?
I started walking every day, and I needed stuff to listen to, and it just actually has kept me going.
Are you walking?
Yeah.
Are you walking right now?
I am, but I'm on vacation right now.
Oh, that's cool. So you're
we'll keep this
vacation.
quick.
You're vacationing in New York. Where is home?
Savannah, Georgia.
Savannah, Georgia. And so did you is this like a family vacay? Like, let's go to the Big Apple? Are you going to all the hot spots like the Empire State Building? Let me give you some hints as someone who frequently travels to New York. You want to avoid the tourist traps. Head straight for the Empire State Building. Grab yourself some Sbarro, an Auntie Anne's. Grab yourself an Auntie Anne's, and then head to the Statue of Liberty.
I've eaten so much Sbarro since I've been here.
Sure.
Hey, listen. Why mess with something that isn't broken?
Right.
What's the main destination you want to go to while you're in New York, Katie?
Well, actually, I'm leaving today. I'm currently in Brooklyn. I'm visiting a friend who lives here. And we've done everything, but last night we went to the Comedy Cellar. That was really great.
Great.
Nice.
I don't know if you've heard of that, but that was probably my favorite thing. We saw the Rocket Summer.
Oh, cool.
Wow, the Rocket Summer. Blast from the past.
Of course. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We saw a Broadway play. We saw Waitress.
Okay.
We've done a lot of stuff. We biked all of Central Park yesterday. I'm pretty exhausted.
Oh, wow. Well, it concerns me that you're in Brooklyn because if I'm doing New York right, I stay within 5 blocks of Times Square the whole time. Right. Why go anywhere? Let me ask you something, Katie. Do they have a giant M&M store that's 4 stories high with a Ferris wheel in it in Brooklyn? I don't think they do.
I don't even think there's an Olive Garden in Brooklyn at all.
There's not. I didn't see any Olive Garden. Otherwise, I totally would have gone. I did ask to go to the M&M store, but it didn't work out.
Okay. Well, is the world's largest Captain D's and Bubba Gump Shrimp Company in Brooklyn and both have water slides? I don't think they are.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You've really blown.
Done it wrong.
I made sure that was my first stop.
The biggest Bubba Gump Shrimp meal that money can buy. All right. Katie, you sent us 3 interesting facts. You actually sent these over the summer, and I bookmarked you. I think we've tried to do this before, but we weren't able to connect. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. And
Okay.
I don't even remember what my facts are.
All right. Well, I will remind you. You were once featured on the television show America's Funniest Videos, a primetime institution.
What?
Which version of an AFV are we talking? Are we talking like Bob Saget era
Or Tom Bergeron?
I wish. This was as an adult, which is not as cool.
We'll take it.
So what happened? How?
So right around the time that YouTube came out, I had my wisdom teeth removed, and my parents took a video of me having the hiccups.
Yeah.
And it's literally just a 30-second video of me hiccuping and saying ow, and I'm completely unconscious. I don't know anything that's going on. So that is, somebody sent it in. I think a family member sent it in, and then I didn't hear I never heard back for a couple of years. And then all of a sudden they sent me a consent form, and it was on 3 or 4 times.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's funny.
Did you get any? Yeah. Do they still? I haven't watched America's Funniest Home Videos for a very long time. It was like a late night joke one time that was like, America's Funniest Home Videos is just YouTube for old people. They don't know how to access funny videos on YouTube. So were you entered into, do they still have the $1 million competition?
Yeah, but I only got a T-shirt. It wasn't as great of a prize.
Oh well, it's more than any of us can say. All right, Katie, I'll remind you of your second fact, which makes me laugh, and I don't know if I should be disturbed by this or not. But it says that you told us that you were emotionally allergic to ketchup.
Oh, yeah. I have a
Okay.
major irrational fear of ketchup.
Really?
What?
Okay.
What,
Explain.
Yeah.
Go a little
unpack
deeper.
this a
Let's
little.
unpack this.
Yeah.
Okay, we've tried to unpack it in counseling so many times. So
Well, I'll say this: we're far more qualified than any quote unquote certified trained therapist.
Right.
So
yeah. What do they
let's
know
lay
about
it-
condiments?
I mean, listening to the podcast has become therapy. So
Yeah,
honestly,
okay.
I believe you. So I've always hated ketchup, and then it progressively got worse because when people figured that out, they would try to put it on me. And
That's no good.
I think it ended. I was an intern at a church, and they actually my biggest crush hit me with 2 pies of ketchup in the face.
Aw.
Yep. Time to get a new crush.
And now it's just
You
like,
were better than him.
yeah. And now we don't even talk about it anymore. Like, people just know. Nobody even makes jokes about it. It's just like, she doesn't like ketchup. We know this for a fact. Let's move on.
So I want to know the level of this. Like if we're like, let's say we're all sitting at a diner there, a typical New York diner with
Denny's.
pictures of all
Yeah.
the celebrities that have come through over the years, the cast of The Sopranos and such. And we're sitting down to get a burger. If I grab the glass bottle of Heinz and start putting it on my French fries and burger, can you even be in the booth or it's just you don't want it on your food?
I'm actively dry heaving.
Oh, man.
Cannot handle it at all.
Has a counselor, have you guys figured out where it stems from? Or it's just always been like that?
It's just always been like that. I don't know any other life than not hating ketchup.
Do you like tomatoes?
Yeah, I'm fine with tomatoes. I'm fine with vinegar. I guess I don't care for paste, maybe?
Yeah,
Who
it's
knows?
What about
Tasty.
like pasta sauce?
What's your feeling? Or mustard?
Yeah.
I'm fine with mustard. I'm fine with tomato sauce.
Huh.
Really?
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing.
That is very odd. That is
is
very
weird.
odd. I will say this, maybe stay away from the world's largest Heinz ketchup store now in Times Square with the water slide into ketchup.
Yeah.
Water slide into
Yeah, I
ketchup.
didn't actually see that. I haven't gone to Times Square much, so maybe that's why.
Yeah.
I have noticed, like you did, that telling church folks about your fears or things you do not like is a mistake because they have no sensitivity. They take that as like a dare. Like, oh, you think you don't like I told just a few weeks ago, I talked about how I don't really care for squid. I have a phobia of squid. And when I have said that in the church setting and when I said it on the podcast, people responded by barraging me with squid content via the internet and photographs on my desk
squid
or
dark
whatever.
web, yeah.
So this is not. I can't advise if you have a phobia, if you are emotionally uncomfortable with anything, like the two of us are. Keep it to yourself, or
Yeah.
don't take it to the
Yeah.
church. The church doesn't know how to handle trauma. They're
All right,
terrible. at this.
Katie, your final one had to do with another emotional reaction. It involved an encounter with Justin Timberlake in Lepers Fork, Tennessee. Tell us what happened when you saw JT in the wild.
So I was walking down the street and I heard his voice and I was like, that sounds so familiar. And I looked over and he was walking out of a tiny little store. And I saw him and I grabbed my friend's arm and I ran the other direction. And he was parked right next to me. And she came running after me. She's like, what's going on? I was like, that's Justin Timberlake. And she's like, why are you running away? And my ultimate fear was that I was going to embrace him.
Like you were going to
I think
assault
in
him
my
on the
mind,
street.
I was going to go hug him, and it made me so nervous that to save us both the awkwardness, I just ran away.
Now, when you said you heard his voice, did you hear him talking, or was he like singing one of his hits to
Was he-
himself? Just like
he would. Yeah, no, his Jessica album dropped off and he goes, bye, bye, bye. And you're like, I gotta go.
I gotta go.
Yeah, I knew that would happen. Like, I would try to sing all of Bye Bye Bye, or I would just like pretty much unravel. I don't do well with celebrities.
Yeah.
And I just kind of ran in the other direction, and he was parked next to me. And so when I did walk to my car, he was in his car backing up, and I stood in front of the car with my mouth wide open. Like I couldn't believe what had just happened.
Oh, well, it's probably a
pretty
good
good.
move
That's
running
pretty good.
away
Yeah,
so that
yeah.
you didn't cause an awkward situation. Well, Katie, you leave New York today? Your vacation ends today?
Yeah, I'm pretty sad about it.
Well, go stock up on, I Love NYC shirts, some NYPD gear. Stock up until your next trip.
Get that photo in
Everyone,
front of
I will.
the
show them you're local.
in front of the subway sign. You got to get your photo in front of that.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
gotta do
You got to get the last minute stuff in. Well,
Yeah.
Katie, thank you for taking a few minutes and being our listener of the week.
Thanks so much for having me on.
All right. Well,
Oh, it was so nice to meet you.
Well, fellow listeners, if you want to be our listener of the week, DM us 3 interesting facts about yourself on Twitter, and we may select you. Katie, thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, well, that'll do it for Listener of the Week, and that'll wrap today's show. JD, great job. Thank you for sitting in, man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey, hit
You're
us up
natural.
hit us up on Twitter if you want more of JD and his strange happenings segment. Okay, so thanks, JD. Also, I want to thank Rebekah Lyons for joining us. Her new book, Rhythms of Renewal, Trading Stress and Anxiety for a Life of Peace and Purpose, is out now. Also, I want to thank Warby Parker. Don't forget to go to warbyparker.com/relevant to get your free try-on kit. And finally, I want to thank the Life Application Study Bible. You can get that wherever you get your books. All right, don't forget to subscribe to the magazine. Issue 101 is out today. And that'll do it for today's show. I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm John David Harris.
I'm Taylor Strake.
I'm Tyler Huckabee.
We'll see you guys next week.
If I fall down, and I keep on running. If I fall down, and I keep on running.
Thank you for listening to the Relevant Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. Check out other shows from the Relevant Podcast Network in the podcast section at relevantmagazine.com. And while you're there, browse exclusive podcast merchandise at our online store. Make sure to subscribe to Relevant Magazine. Info is available at relevantmagazine.com/subscribe.
Every step I take, I'll make sure I shadow near our school.
I don't need Uncle Sam telling me to read books. I read good anyway.
Relevant Podcast Network.